got a call to this address. Reports of screaming.
These recordings stem from a young security officer who was working the graveyard shift in a hospital in Chile, and he was responsible for keeping the place safe at night during the ongoing renovations. But he states that human intruders weren't the only thing that he was concerned about. He saw and heard some really inexplicable things during his shifts, and eventually started recording them.
Del primer piso. Creo que el sonido vino de por acá, me parece. Hola. Oh, conches. Vamos a seguir mejor. Apaga la linterna. Aquí no hay nada. Conche su madre. No voy a de dónde. Mejor voy a salir luego de acá. Zoom me está fallando, pero ahí sí. Los pasillos de acá. No de ahí al fondo. Como pueden ver, aquí está todo normal. Así que vamos a seguir explorando por aquí. A ver si es que encontramos alguna cosa interesante. Conchetumare. Conchetumare, ¿no? ¿Qué es esa wea, conchetumare? ¿Quién está ahí? Tu madre, pues. ¿Quién está ahí? Conche su madre. Conche tu madre. ¿Quién anda ahí? ¿Qué wea fue eso?
There is, without a doubt, some really creepy shadow sightings that nobody has any explanation for. What do you think is going on here? This was supposedly captured by a patrolling officer in the area. What had caused him to take a closer look at this house is unfortunately unknown.
422. This place definitely gives out some creepy vibes. keep seeing shadows walking by. What the?
Now, this could either be some creepy editing, or we are looking at a shadow person. What that creepy laughing means, though, I couldn't say. This was another TV report which shows two officers as they were chasing down a speeding car.
Runaway carves across the carriageway
Some boy is going up.
and calls it a day. You're nicked. Or you should be.
Where is he?
There's no one outside, no one behind the wheel, and the van is locked.
Where's he gone?
It's magic.
He's in the back. He stopped to think he's hiding in the back. There's no one in the driver or passenger seat.
To their surprise, the car was completely empty and apparently locked. So either the driver was hiding somewhere really clever, or what else could have unfolded here? The following capture was taken by a night guard in Mexico and shared by Pasillo Infinito. The night guard states that many of the staff are talking about really weird sightings that they come across, particularly in the midst of night in this old hospital. Even ghostly patients can be seen ever so often, roaming the hallways, although people are generally not supposed to be there that late at night. It's really strange, but if you look closely, you can see a torso coming out of the floor, which is obviously not possible. The security guard is pretty sure that we are seeing a spirit here, or at least something non-human. But what do you think? I have certainly no explanation for this. The next video was shared by Tracy Paris, and the description reads that she was showing the following video on a family gathering, and it was recorded by a camera that two of her, I think, cousins have set up in their place, and there was some really ominous stuff going on.
Ahí fue, mira. ¿Sabes cómo se movió eso?
Se cayó, levantó vuelo.
Ajá. Esa vaina ahí. Ah, yo, mi amigo.
Es que
Y ahí. Que se cayó el papelito.
Oh wow, what's that? Look at the door here. Is that a hand? How do we explain that? This is like the worst that can happen. I mean, this looks like some really powerful activity. That's really weird. This was captured by a worker during a nightly shift. He was just moving some heavy machinery to a new construction site. He was by himself at the time and didn't see anything strange, but based on his reports, he heard a weird scream from the neighboring fields, which caused him to pull up the recording after his shift had ended, and he saw something quite unique. Some of his co-workers think that he might have captured a floating torso of a spirit, or maybe another form of creature. He was pretty baffled and had no explanation of what we are seeing here, especially since it just shows up for a few moments before it vanishes. Super weird. What do you think could have been captured here? How creepy. The following video was sent by Alex, and he tells me that he found it on another channel. Apparently, the man in the clip was recording a short video in which he talks about a game that he has sold to somebody else. While he is going into detail about this deal, his camera can capture somebody else in the apartment. At least that is what the viewers believe. Let's take a look.
Se lo compré en 200, no me acuerdo en cuánto me costó porque sí fue hace como 2 semanas o 3. Y luego con todo esto.
Did you see it? Let's take a second look.
Sí fue hace como 2 semanas o 3. Y luego con todo esto que ya ni podemos salir.
It appears that somebody is standing in the dark hallway, turned towards the young man with the camera. The question is, could it be anything mysterious? Maybe just a friend who was playing a prank for his viewers. Whatever it is, it appears to be female, with long dark hair. You decide. The next clip comes to us from the user Fluvis. The footage was taken in 2015 and was pulled from a security camera in an office building. Unfortunately, not much information regarding the context of the sighting is available. However, we do know that this was filmed at 2 AM and that nobody was in the building at the time of the recording. Let's take a look. In the video we can see what looks to be a storage room with some miscellaneous office furniture and a small garage door. Nothing seems amiss at the beginning, but quickly we notice something strange appears near the center of the room. A weird black figure seems to slither on the floor for a while, and at first glance it might seem like something as innocent as a small animal. Things take a turn for the paranormal when the black shadow starts twisting and contorting itself into strange shapes. It seems to grow and shrink at will. Viewers have warned that this very odd shadow creature could possibly be demonic, especially given the inhumane form. After only a few seconds, the entity disappears into thin air. Could this be a demonic sighting that was caught on film? Hello guys, time for more demonic encounters that are simply terrifying. Now, let's take a look at some of Rosanna's latest uploads. She is still dealing with poltergeist activity in her home. She was trying to protect herself with a cross today as she witnessed things getting out of hand once more. She tells us that at this point she felt paralyzed and dropped her phone to the ground. She didn't remember anything after this. Could it be that the paranormal energy in her home is getting stronger? Now we are looking at a video that was sent in by a user to the channel Fourth Wall. He has been documenting a haunted house for the last few months. In this video, he goes into detail on the history of the home to find answers regarding the paranormal activity he has been experiencing. According to the neighbors, the first owner was a friendly man in his mid-40s who moved out of the home after less than a year for unknown reasons. There was one other resident to the home before the man bought it. However, very little is known about that man. The uploader has security cameras in various spots around the house in order to catch any paranormal activity. He also has an alert on his phone that lets him know if motion is detected anywhere in the house. The door seems to close entirely on its own. What makes this even creepier is that there's some speculation that the previous owner may have actually passed away in this very washroom. Now the man wakes up due to the motion alert and goes checking. But what he didn't realize is that he might actually not have been alone in the bathroom. We can see an apparition through the see-through door, and when the man takes a peek, there's no one there. Could it be that the former owner was actually visiting him that night? Or what else could this have been? The following video was shared by two young men from Aguascalientes, Mexico, who were on their way back home after a gathering around 2:30 a.m. They drove past a supposedly haunted stretch of land, on which ironically a kindergarten was built a few years ago. What really caught their attention was a set of swings, on which a young girl could be seen. which is quite baffling, since this part of town wasn't known to be the safest, and the girl alone that late at night. Pretty strange.
Oigan, ahí está el columpio. Escuchen el columpio. Escúchenlo. Ya te tocó verla. No, si le da madre ese güey. Vean. Mira, güey. No seas mamón, puerco. Mames. Le da madres, güey. No se anda como. ¡No, güey!
What makes all of that even stranger is that another video surfaced, which was recorded by a young man with the name Alfonso Lopez, unrelated to the first video we saw. He as well heard about the creepy ghost story of a girl that seemed to be haunting the very grounds of this area. He was also on his way home that night.
A la niña del columpio. Vamos a ver si es cierto. Aquí a la derecha. Aquí a la derecha, güey. No mames, el pinche columpio, güey. Párate, güey, no mames, mira. Güey, y son los dos, güey. No mames, güey. ¿Neta? ¿Me acerco, güey? Sí.
Come to find out, neighbors in the area were telling stories about an unfortunate accident that had occurred at the scene, in which a young girl named Mariana was involved in a fatal accident after leaving the kindergarten one day.
Perdió el foco, güey. Perdió el foco esta madre, güey. Güey, perdió el foco esta madre, güey.
Ever since, several people speak of that young girl that can be seen close to the swing set at night. And maybe these drivers have captured proof that this tale might actually be true. This capture was shared by Pasillo and was forwarded to him by a viewer. They told him that they took a snapshot that night of the uploader's wife and their grandmother, who passed away shortly after taking it. Eventually, they went through the pictures, and the fact that this was one of the very last pictures of their grandma made it just so much more eerie. They saw somebody else in the back that wasn't there at the time and that nobody could recognize. It looks like a sinister, laughing apparition. If it was related to Grandma's passing, is not very likely. But it still begs the question, why exactly this thing was captured on tape though? How strange. User Raphael445 has shared the following surveillance footage on Reddit. He explains that one night his uncle saw two men appearing out of nowhere right outside their property, which was reason enough for him to get outside and tell them that his property was out of limits for them. What was a bit strange though is the fact that these men did not move once after they had appeared, and they could only be seen for certain moments before they were gone again. Sounds strange. Let's take a look. And this is the moment when his uncle is talking to these two guys, but they don't react, which is really odd. Clearly looks like there's two men standing, doesn't it? But let's think rationally. What else could that be? Some people say that it just could be some regular shadows, but where would that light come from? And it's pretty suspicious that they would disappear once the flashlight hits them. What is your explanation for that? A user has shared the following. He stated, "My friend sent me this last night. This is his house, and when he wasn't home, he got a notification that his camera picked up movement. Once he watched it back and saw this, he was shook and asked me what my opinion was. Any thoughts? Looks clear as day to me." On first glance, one could think that the owner himself is walking through the frame here, but this wasn't the case apparently. His friend had some really odd encounters in his apartment in the past, but nothing that would ever prove that paranormal activity is unfolding in there. So, did his camera maybe capture an intruder that night? Or are we looking at a paranormal incident here? Now we want to take a look at another mysterious recording shared by the channel Fourth Wall. It is said that a security camera, which is mounted on a pole to overlook an old cemetery in Japan, has captured something quite unique this night. The cemetery is notorious for many strange sightings and reports. A security guard noticed that something seemed to be moving on this recording. Of course, the footage is not the best, but some say this could be a silhouette. Is that so? The staff also shared another clip from a nightly visitor that got spooked off the premises after going for a nightly walk. He believes to have captured a spirit here. Really strange to say the least. The following case was documented by Margarita, who states that after moving into a new house with her family, her son started talking and even playing with an invisible friend. They thought at first that this was just a case of her young son talking to an imaginable friend. However, one night, the security camera caught something shocking. The camera was situated in the bedroom of their son. Take a look.
So before I left the house for a drive, my son was asleep. Pay attention.
Armani, you need to go to bed, okay, baby? You hear me?
I have to tell you looking when you get home.
What happened, baby?
Okay.
You hear me?
Yes.
I love you.
You too.
Okay, I'll see you in a minute.
Margarita states that she got an alert from her Ring camera that movement was detected in the bedroom. Seeing this transparent shape after her young son left the room might have had to do with it. What exactly is this translucent shape? To many, it looks like a ghost. It's certainly a spooky night, I would say. Who knows? The next is a recording which was uploaded by a young man to the paranormal Reddit section. They have recently moved into a new place and stated that there had been a handful of really strange events unfolding, items that are moving around without anybody else being there, and footsteps that they hear in the midst of night. Today, the uploader was watching TV when he heard some really odd noises coming from the open patio and started recording.
Hey man, that is cool. What are you doing? What's going on? You okay? Can I get away? Tell me to say how you're doing.
Comments range from this being a creepy apparition, from it simply being a strange reflection. But it's odd since the door is open. And the man states that there should be nothing reflecting. So, what do you think? Is this the face of something paranormal? Or what else could it be? This next video was uploaded by NVTV and was submitted to their channel by Michael Johnson. About the capture he wrote, in April 2016 I saw something weird in the tree lines. I went in for a little bit and came back out and it was still there. My friends say it was a Sasquatch because we are in Maine, United States. But I'm not from here, so I'm definitely not a Bigfoot believer. Let's see what Michael captured. A strange creature appears to be leaning out from behind one of the trees in the distance. Michael zooms in to get a closer look. The creature definitely appears to be something human-like. Could this be a Bigfoot? Some viewers speculated this could be a skinwalker or a dogman, due to the thin appearance and relatively small stature. It's really hard to say, if it wasn't hoaxed, of course. One night, a man named Matthias was walking home through the streets of Rosario, Argentina, when he noticed something strange and decided to record and observe it closely.
Estoy caminando por la calle, ¿ves? Y estoy llegando a mi casa. Y ven el árbol, ven allá. ¿Lo ven? Acá. Ahí en el medio. ¿Ven? Hay como una figura oscura. Me llamó muchísimo la atención de la cuadra anterior que lo veía. A ver, vamos acá. Mi casa está acá a la vuelta. No hay nada. No sé.
As he walks home, he sees a strange shadow figure appear for a second before vanishing. When he approaches the tree to take a look, a chilling scream is heard. Without thinking much about it, he goes home and continues with his life. But the following night, he begins to hear strange noises coming from outside his house.
Estoy sintiendo hace un rato ruido acá atrás. Y no sé qué mierda es. Esto es re oscuro. Hey, hola. Hey. Concha de tu madre. ¿Qué carajo es eso? Una sombra ahí, veo cosas por todos lados. Este es un cuarto, la casa de acá atrás es como un cuarto que guardamos cosas, pero estoy sintiendo como un golpeteo. No, nada. ¡Ey! ¡Puta madre! Todo el tiempo ruido, todo el tiempo ruido. No.
He hears an unknown voice, so he decides to simply open the door and go back inside. But it seems that whatever was outside might have followed him through the door. Later in the night, he begins to hear eerie sounds, this time from inside the house.
¿Se escucha el ruido? Acá está la habitación de mi hija. Puta madre. ¡Ey! Uy, se siente re fría esta habitación. ¿Qué carajo? A ver, acá adentro me parece. Concha de tu madre, la concha de tu madre. Otra vez, ruido acá adentro.
Paranormal events begin to happen inside the house, but the only thing he finds is a strange doll inside the closet. Matthias lives alone and explains that his daughter actually lives far away with her mother. Perhaps that's why it wants to occupy the empty room. After a while, suddenly the lights go out in the house, and he begins to hear chilling sounds once again. The strange sounds seem to emanate mainly from inside the closet, but the only thing inside is this small, creepy toy.
Otra vez ruido en la pieza de mi hija. Estoy podrido de los sonidos, de los ruidos. Paren un poco, viejo, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué es eso, la concha de su madre? Yo me apago la luz de ahí. Oh, esto me da muchísimo miedo.
The door handle begins to rattle before the door opens fully and slams shut by itself. Matthias, terrified, doesn't dare to enter the room and decides to leave the house for the night. But as he's leaving, something catches his attention.
Otra vez los ruidos en el patio, otra vez. Yo no sé si... O esa es Sansa, pero... Esa mi perra tiene un cono, pero... Se escucha algo raro, Uy, uy.
A whistle is heard, and a dark figure manifests out of nowhere. It looks like what he saw a few nights ago by the tree. He believes that something has somehow attached itself to him and followed him home. But until we get more answers, all of this remains a mystery.